Folks, I just produced and commentated the very first live streamed Scrabble tournament on the newly launched WESPA YouTube channel, 2026 MGI International Scrabble Classics. With just a few rounds to go, two UK grandmasters emerged from the absolutely stacked field, Piotr Andronowski and Mackay. Peter's been on the channel before thanks to his insane 347-point play of adequacy, while Lewis has tallied consistently elite results in worldwide competition. These two titans waged an epic battle down the stretch of the tournament, starting with their round 27 matchup. Peter starts out strong in the game with 3 bingos, while Lewis manages to stay close with curators for 90 and a critical draw of Reminet to stay close late. With just 3 tiles left in the bag, there are some bingo threats available from Peter's POV. If he plays more than 3 tiles here, he could instantly lose to a bingo, so he cleverly makes a backup plan. Just N underneath Shifty. The idea here is to create an X spot as a safety valve that might outperform bingos sometimes, especially if Lewis has the cue. It's a creative idea, but with 1 tile in the bag, it gives Lewis the option to simply play his cue with Chin for 22. Drawing an E will instantly win Lewis this game, giving him negative and vintaged in different spots on the board. Drawing the S will give him staving and bugs, while drawing the A will threaten navigate. It turns out that the A is the final tile in the bag, forcing Peter into a tough spot with little time left on the clock. X for 54 won't be enough now. Even hexanes for 66 will lose to navigate. Perhaps the most natural-looking block of the E of Ooze is something like lose, except navigate still fits underneath this with overlaps. With time dwindling, Peter makes the adjustment from lose to Saz for the same score, successfully blocking navigate. Lewis takes the lead with heaving, but Peter hits back with his X for 36, the better of only 2 winning plays here. Although Lewis's best outplay of Tar gets him close, it's still Peter's win by just a 7-point margin. Both players win their games against others in round 28, and heading into round 29, Peter is 2 games up with a much better tiebreaker with only 4 games to go. Lewis will either need to win 3 of his next 4 games, all against Peter, by huge margins, or simply win 4 games in a row against him by any amount to win the tournament. In round 29, Lewis draws the first blank, but he has too many consonants to bingo, instead playing Hark to balance his rack. While Peter quickly spots his best available bingo of taboulis for 80, this word can be spelled in a variety of ways, and he's not confident enough in this spelling to risk it. Instead, he plays halibuts for 65, a 15-point sacrifice on the scoreboard with much more risk in the form of a lucrative triple lane. Under normal circumstances, Lewis might heavily punish this mistake, but here, halibuts actually blocks Lewis's only playable bingo of cogwheel through the H, forcing him instead to play Clegg for 32. Later on, Lewis has a good chance to seize command of the game with an excellent bingo rack. With many anagrams available to choose from, he doesn't notice instead for 85 and plays the much riskier Nidates for 79, allowing Peter to answer back with the high-scoring Nutty for 45. Still, after Lewis's wine and Peter's oxen, Lewis makes a fantastic find of Equinia for 76 with a blank Q, his only available bingo. Peter continues his scoring onslaught with Marble for 56, getting back within striking distance. In a vacuum, the play of Quap for 25, leaving solid bingo tiles, looks like the best option for Lewis. Instead, he plays Cheese for 26, burning the final S of the game for just 1 additional point. This is a fantastic defensive play and the engine's favorite option here, blocking both the row on top of Marble as well as the lane hooking Awe in 1 move, while also holding the P and O together in his leave to threaten Pause for 52 with a Z draw. Despite 2 more high-scoring plays from Peter in the endgame, Lewis still secures a critical win. The 2 grandmasters get right back to it in round 30 as Peter opens with Yucca for 18 from an ugly opening rack, and Lewis answers with Ixia for 27, holding the Z in reserve. Peter has 2 very different options on his next move. His top scoring play is Die Basic for 48, spanning 2 double word scores, but leaving just a lone Y for his next turn. On the other hand, while buy for 25 sacrifices a lot of points, it has the upside of much more frequent follow-up bingos. Buy is only a minor error according to the engine. However, in this case, leaving the eye open allows Lewis to play Anodizer for 86, could not have fit anywhere after Die Basic, continues to build on his lead from there, landing bingos of Solfege, Gen 2s, and finally pre-united in the endgame en route to a nearly 200-point blowout win. Lewis has some momentum now after 2 straight wins, but Piotr is still in strong position. The first move in round 31, Lewis plays if for 10, and Piotr hits back with Diddy for 29. Next, holding very strong bingo tiles with the exception of the Y, Lewis can play something short like Ya for 13. Instead, he opts for a higher score with Party for 25. This gives Piotr an opportunity to dump his heavy tiles to the triple with Heifer for 48, leaving the potent CH combination. Lewis answers with the logical Zag for 26, saving a strong bingo lead with the nice open letters of Heifer available. Piotr's draw doesn't look great at first, but with that open E, he plays Scooched for 94 points, drawing a challenge from Lewis for 5 more, and while Lewis can hit back with Kittles for 79, Piotr draws the first blank and hits another 94-point play in Haw Eater to take a huge lead. Now down 130 in this nearly must-win game, Lewis draws the valuable S, which can hook forming Skittles to give access to the triple word score. His best available play there is Jors for 45, which is a good idea despite the underwhelming NPV leave. He'll need a lot of luck from here on out to have a shot in this one, and he gets a bit of it right away as Piotr's post-bingo draw is terrible, forcing him to play Way for 25 to grab a respectable score. Lewis draws AEIR to his all-consonant leave, giving him much better balance. Still, he has no playable 7 or 8 letter bingos here, and it's looking like he'll be forced to play something like VoIP for 26 to try again for a bingo next turn. Instead, Lewis makes an astounding play here. Through the O and T already on the board, he plays Overpaint for an 80-point 9-letter bingo, instantly reviving his chances in this game. Even better, he draws the second blank, and with Piotr now ahead by only 30 holding triplicated O's, he could consider playing more aggressively with something like Folio or Fonio for 16. Either of these plays would give the bingo of Boggarts back to Lewis. Instead, Piotr safely plays on the interior of the board with Oo for 12. Out of vowel to play through, Lewis decides to exchange tiles. Initially, Piotr's next draw doesn't look great either. The L of Skittles saves him, though, allowing him to turn these low-point letters into the excellent bingo find of Elation, putting him back up by over 100. Remarkably, the N in the triple lane hits just the right spot to give Lewis Norteñas for 122 points in response, giving him the lead in a game where he was down 130 points just a few turns prior. With just one more good draw here, Lewis could complete a stunning comeback. Instead, while he does draw the QU combination together, comes along with Clunk. After Piotr hits Dex for 45 to retake the lead, Lewis plays Bug to try and draw a better Q play, after which Piotr spots his only playable bingo of Neutrino for 68 to retake command. Without a reasonable way to generate winning chances, Lewis initiates a straightforward endgame that allows Piotr to finish off a wild, memorable 45-point win. Going into the final round of the tournament, Lewis doesn't just need to win, he needs a huge 201-point win to overtake Piotr's point spread tiebreaker. Halfway through the game, the dream appears to be over, with Lewis ahead by only 37 and Piotr on turn. However, Piotr draws an atrocious 7-vowel rack and has to exchange, while Lewis draws both blanks and plays Snow Ear for 93 to increase his lead to over 100. Not only that, he draws both C's and the X after his bingo, a miraculous draw. The X plays underneath Holmes for at least 50 points, and the C's give Lewis exclusive access to the rightmost column, where plays hooking Mike could score another 90 to 100 points as a bingo. Not only that, after Piotr's exchange, it's looking like most of his best plays will play underneath Holmes, giving a huge triple lane back to Lewis. Instead, Peter makes a fantastic find of Bog Bean for 48, the only play that scores similarly well while also offering very little back to Lewis. Still, this play allows Lewis to counter with exec for 58, saving his other C for the big Mike lane. He's now up by 140. A Mike bingo could easily score enough to deliver him his 200-point margin. With the tournament potentially on the line, Peter shows excellent recognition of the situation. With Koi available for 39, he instead plays auto for just 16, crippling the critical lane. After Lewis's play of coup, Peter defends well again with weak for 38, which takes no hooks. After Lewis's power, Peter's penultimate play of go prevents miracle underlaps of bingos like trainee. One of few plays that literally yield no possible bingos back to Lewis. Another excellent play. While Lewis Mackay takes this game by an 108-point margin, not the 201 points he needs, and Piotr Andronowski holds off this furious challenge to become the 2026 MGI champion. I hope you enjoyed the recap of these amazing games. Kudos to Peter and Lewis for their excellent results and giving us such a fantastic show. Remember to give the Wespa channel a follow if you haven't already. And as always, thank you so much for watching.